Hello and welcome to my unit breakdown of the flyer section in the brand new Space Marine Codex. Here on the right, throughout the whole review, the new codex will be on the right. There are 3 flyers in both of the books, so we'll go through them right away. In the old codex, they started right here on page 183 after the repulsor, and in the new book they started right here on page 163, so a little bit earlier on. Now, one thing's missing in the new codex, and that is a Lord of War choice at the back. There's no Robute Gilliman because clearly he's in the brand new Ultramarines supplement codex, the mini kind of codex that Games Workshop are choosing to bring out alongside these main codexes. So let's get straight in there, and it follows exactly the same pattern as the previous codex, starting with the Stormhawk Interceptor. It has a slight points reduction, and now it's a power points cost of a 9, and it used to be a 10. The stat line is exactly the same as it was before. Same strength, toughness, wounds, save and so on. Same movement speed. The weapons are all the same as well. The Icarus Storm Cannon, they haven't messed with that. Still very decent. The Las-Talons, they haven't messed with that. Skyhammer missile launchers works the same as before, and so do the Typhoon missile launchers too. The rules side of things, it does have Angels of Death, like all of the units in this codex. It has a few differences. It's got this airborne rule whereby before the model cannot charge, can only be charged by units that can fly, and can only attack or be attacked in the fight phase by units that can fly. Nowadays it says you can only fight with this model if it is within 1 inch of any enemy units that can fly, and this model can only make close combat attacks against units that can fly. It's just a different way of wording it really, but with that 1 inch. Explodes works the same way, but it's just called explodes instead of crash and burn. Hard to hit, it used to be called Interceptor, it's now called hard to hit. Supersonic works the same. It's got this Interceptor rule, which it had before. The hard to hit rule works the same as before, so does Interceptor, and it's also still got that Infernum Halo launcher. However, that works differently. Before you could re-roll save rolls of 1 for the model. Now you subtract 1 from the hit roll from range weapon against the models that can fly. So before you could re-roll save rolls of a 1, now you subtract 1 from hits from other flying units. So a little bit of change in terminology there. The next flyer, which is, you know, joint most expensive unit in the codex along with the Repulsor Executioner and Land Raider and so on, is the Stormraven Gunship. It's still exactly the same points cost as it was before. Everything works the same as before. The stat line is exactly the same. It can still transport 12 models and dreadnoughts, but not dreadnoughts that have wounds of 13 or more. It's got the hard to hit rule, the hoverjet rule, supersonic and airborne, and it's also got the Angels of Death. It's got the same options as it had before as well, in terms of taking heavy plasma cannons, twin las cannons, hurricane bolters. Very versatile vehicle that. Yes, it's quite expensive. You can have 12 infantry units and a dreadnought in there. It's a shame you can't fit any Primaris in there, but there we go. Then finally, the last flyer choice is the Stormtalon Gunship. That's had a slight power points cost reduction, in terms of it's now an 8 and it used to be a 9. Stat line reads exactly the same as it did before. Same movement speed, same weapons. Skyhammer missile launchers and Typhoon missile launchers haven't changed at all. You've got all of the same rules there, including strafe and hit, hoverjet, hard to hit, explodes. It used to be called crash and burn, it's now called explodes. And there you have it. That is all of the flyers in the brand new codex. That's a very, very short review. It's the smallest review of all of these sections, but I thought I'd just put that there in terms of, you know, PowerPoint's cost and terminology, slight change between the Stormtalon and the Stormhawk as well. I like the fact they're all called Storm, but it's hard to remember the second part of them, like Stormhawk, Stormraven, Stormtalon, you know, Stormbird, you know. So not as many changes as, you know, the larger sections such as heavy support and elites. I think there should be more flyers for Space Marines, I really do. I like the fact that they've got a separate Stormtalon and Stormhawk. I wish that they had made the plastic version of the Xiphon. I really like that, and I've got that. I've got one of those. I'd like a Primaris flyer. You know, where's a Primaris? You've got Primaris Dreadnoughts, Primaris Tanks. Where's a Primaris transport flyer? That's what I'm really after. Unfortunately, I think the only way we're going to get that in the future is from Forge World, and it's going to be quite a big sort of planetary dropship thing. Anyway, what do you guys think of the flyer section? It's the least changed out of the whole book. Please do put your thoughts and comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.